The lecture hall of the Galactic Military Academy fell silent as instructor Zix Thor's crystalline form shimmered at the podium. 300 cadets from 47 species sat in tiered seats, their various appendages fidgeting with nervous anticipation. Today's lesson on primitive warfare tactics was mandatory for all second cycle students. "Today," Zix Thor announced, his translator making his chittering voice sound appropriately grave, "we study the humans." A collective murmur rippled through the hall. Everyone had heard stories about the newest species to join the Galactic Federation, the bipedal mammals from a death world called Earth, who had somehow survived their own planet's attempts to kill them for millions of years. Ana Rodriguez sat in the third row, her dark eyes scanning the data pad in front of her. As one of only 5 human exchange students at the academy, she'd grown used to being a curiosity. Beside her, her best friend Roma Chen shifted uncomfortably, his jaw tight. "You okay?" Ana whispered. "Just wondering what they're going to show," Roma replied, his fingers drumming against his knee. Zix Thor's eyes, all 7 of them, focused on the 2 humans. "Cadets Rodriguez and Chen, perhaps you would prefer to wait outside. This material may be disturbing, even for your kind." Ana shook her head. "We'll stay, sir." "Very well." The instructor dimmed the lights. "What you are about to witness are historical recordings from Earth's pre-contact period, specifically their global conflicts of the 20th century. I must warn you, human warfare is unlike anything practiced by civilized species." The first clip began. It showed grainy footage of a place called Verdun. Humans, thousands of them, charged across muddy fields while explosions erupted around them. They fell, they screamed, they kept running. The audio was turned low, but even so, several Calarian cadets in the back began to keen in distress. "Observe," Zix Thor narrated, "that humans engage in direct frontal assault despite certain casualties. They possess no natural armor, no venom, no telepathic abilities, yet they advance." The next clip showed aerial bombardment from something called World War II. Cities reduced to rubble, humans digging through ruins with their bare hands, pulling out survivors, then immediately organizing to fight back. A Vexian cadet near the front stood abruptly. "Permission to be excused, instructor." His 3-legged form was trembling. "Granted." 2 more followed him out. The footage continued. Iwo Jima, Stalingrad, the Somme, guerrilla fighters in jungles, resistance movements in occupied cities, humans fighting in deserts, in Arctic conditions, in mountains, fighting when outnumbered, fighting when outgunned, fighting when any rational species would have surrendered. "Look at their faces," Ana heard someone whisper behind her. It was Cathar, a usually boisterous Crinian. "They're not even scared. They're angry." Roma's knuckles had gone white. Ana knew why. His great-grandfather had fought in one of those wars. The old man had never talked about it much, but the medals in the display case at home told their own story. Zix Thor froze the image on a medic, a human wearing a red cross, running into active fire to drag a wounded soldier to safety. This is perhaps the most illogical aspect of human warfare. They willingly risk death to save those already injured. Their medical personnel are unarmed by choice and marked clearly for enemy identification. "That's insane," breathed a Polarian cadet. "You're telling the enemy exactly who to shoot to demoralize the troops." "By human conventions," Zix Thor explained, "medical personnel are not to be targeted. It is considered a war crime." "And do their enemies respect this?" asked another cadet. "Sometimes. Sometimes not. The humans provide medical aid regardless." The exodus from the lecture hall began in earnest then. First a trickle, then a stream. Cadets from peaceful species, from worlds where conflicts were settled through ritual combat or diplomatic chess matches, couldn't comprehend what they were seeing. The concept of total war, of entire planetary populations mobilized for mutual destruction, was beyond their understanding. By the time Zixthor reached the footage of nuclear weapons, half the seats were empty. "These devices," the instructor said quietly, "represent the pinnacle of human destructive capability in their pre-contact era. They created weapons that could destroy their own species and nearly used them in anger. Yet they chose restraint. They chose survival. They chose to reach for the stars instead." The final clip showed something different. Apollo 11. Humans stepping onto their own moon. Then the Ares missions to Mars. The construction of the first interstellar vessel. Human faces, dirty and exhausted and triumphant, planting flags on hostile worlds. "This is why humans are now part of the Federation," Zixthor concluded. "Not despite their violent history, but because they transcended it. They took the same determination, the same refusal to surrender, the same courage they showed in destroying each other, and turned it toward exploration, toward science, toward peace." He looked directly at Anna and Roma. "They are perhaps the only species who truly understands the cost of war, and therefore the value of peace." The lights came up. Of the 300 cadets who had started the lecture, only 97 remained. The resignation notices would flood the Academy administration by evening. Aliens who decided that if humans were the standard for galactic military service, they wanted no part of it. Anna gathered her things quietly. As she and Roma headed for the exit, Zixthor called out to them. "Cadets Rodriguez and Chen, a moment." They approached the podium. Up close, the ancient instructor's crystalline surface showed countless fractures, scars from battles long past. "You showed no reaction to the footage," Zixthor observed. Roma's voice was steady when he replied. "With respect, sir, we already knew what humans were capable of. We study it in our own history classes. The question is never whether we can fight. It's whether we should." Anna added, "My abuela used to say, 'Know what you came from so you know where you're going.'" Zixthor's form pulsed with what might have been approval. "Wise words, Cadet Rodriguez. The humans who frighten your classmates are the same humans who now stand watch over peaceful worlds, who run disaster relief operations, who volunteer for the most dangerous exploration missions." He paused. "Because you know what it costs." "Yes, sir," they said in unison. As they walked out into the corridor, stepping past groups of shaken alien cadets, Roma bumped Anna's shoulder with his own. "So," he said with a wry smile, "think we scared them enough?" Anna laughed. "Roma, half of them just quit the military because of videos from before we even had faster-than-light travel. Imagine what they'd think if they knew what we're capable of now." "Maybe it's better they don't," Roma replied, his expression turning serious. "Let them be scared of old ghosts. As long as we remember why we stopped fighting each other, and what we're willing to fight for now." Behind them, in the emptying lecture hall, Instructor Zixthor began preparing the next lesson. Not all the cadets had fled. Those who remained, the brave, the curious, the wise, would be the ones who truly understood humanity's place in the galaxy. Not as conquerors, not as monsters, but as the species who knew darkness intimately and chose light anyway. And that, Zixthor thought, made them the most terrifying and most valuable allies the galaxy had ever seen.